Check, check.
I got sound here. Yeah, now it's working.
Okay. Okay.
Damn, we were just talking with no sound.
No shit. Well, that sucks. Oh man. All right.
Well, you can watch us mouth some shit for a while.
We've had technical. I guess we've had
God.
technical issues.
Let me fix this over here so we don't get feedback.
We've had technical
He
issues
says
today.
the pantomime was great. Oh, it's still going. What the fuck?
Oh man.
Cancel sound.
There we go.
Okay.
All right. So let's rewind back. Let's rewind back to this shit. Damn.
That was like now we gotta now we're like redoing the lines.
We do have to redo the lines. All right. Let's starting off all over. Today's a hell of a day. Hold on.
Oh, fucking hell.
I need another sip.
Fucking doesn't even cheers. He's like, fuck it.
I'm gonna go for it.
All
right. Thanks. Thank
you, Rhea, because like we would have been sitting here doing this whole fucking show without audio.
Jeez, man. Thanks.
One time we did it with like shitty audio.
Yeah, that's true.
But at least we had.
But at least we had audio. Good grief. All right, man. All right, cool. So we're here. All right. So industry news. Let's start all over. I'm all right. Doing takes.
It was only like 10 minutes. We're good.
It's fine. All right. So want to start off with this movie called Devotion. All right.
Yeah.
Starring Jonathan Majors,
who has been killing it lately.
He has been killing it. This guy's all over the place. He is the it guy right now for Hollywood.
Before we realized we were mute, we were talking about how both of Ellis and I saw this guy from First and Last Black Man in San Francisco, which is an indie film that popped up in 2018.
That's right.
Just such a really well made film. I loved it. It was a beautiful story about gentrification and losing your roots and having to be forced out into like finding a new way. And,
right. Yeah.
But also dealing with like a lie that was set in.
That's right. Yeah, they did lie.
Roots.
Yeah, right. They did lie.
So the roots became what he made of it in the end.
Yeah.
Which is what the film is
about.
But Jonathan Majors plays his best friend in that film.
Right. And I think that put him on the map, you know, because really after that, such a good film that he started getting a ton of roles, man. He just started climbing that Hollywood ladder. And
we were talking about how Marvel swooped him up for Loki with Kang. And,
that's right.
And being that, like, that's a huge role. It's like the Thanos of this new iteration of Marvel.
This is the next phase.
It's like, for any actor that's, has a sense of logic in their brains, like when Marvel comes in, it's like, hey, we're going to give you this fucking role.
Yeah.
And it's like, you'd be stupid not to take it.
Yeah.
Especially a role like this where I mentioned before we realized we were mute that that this role is Kang, Kang the Conqueror has so many different versions in the multiverse. He's a multiversal character.
That's right.
So this is like candy for an actor who comes in and gets to play not only one character but so many versions of it.
Right.
So it just like that's an actor's dream is to be able to do something like that.
Just different variations. That's true, man.
So it's like he's been like killing it so much. He got that, but he got that a couple years ago. And so he obviously had that role before he started coming around more.
Right.
So they like Feige saw something in him and was like, let's get him.
I think they got him right after that HBO show, Lovecraft Country.
Yeah.
Right. Which was it was a horror. It was a great show. It was a nice miniseries. They only did one season. And it had a lot of horror elements to it, but it was freaking fantastic, man. So that actually put him on the map as well.
He was the lead in that, right?
He was the lead in that. Because that was like the second thing that I saw him in. Like I saw The Last Black Man in San Francisco, and then I saw him in that series.
I never got around to watching Lovecraft Country, but you did tell me about it.
It's pretty good. It's not directly related to H.P. Lovecraft,
but it's got some like
it has Lovecraftian.
Yeah, I mean it's in the name.
Monsters in it, and they make sense of it. How these monsters came to be in this kind of world. But yeah, it's very meta how they did it, because Lovecraft is actually like an author in this series. But then his character is like, oh, that's a Lovecraft thing. Like he identifies like what these monsters
so
are
it's actually referenced within the universe,
within the universe.
They're like, oh, it's a Leo moment. Like, oh shit.
Right. Exactly. So he's referencing these kind
That's
of creatures.
cool. I like that. Yeah,
right.
that's
Exactly.
interesting, yeah.
So, but yeah, I think he started to blow up like after that series because it got a lot of like good critic reviews.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this guy's killing it. He's in Creed 3. He's massive.
He's fucking huge.
He makes Jordan Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan, yeah, look like an ant.
Yeah, looks so small, man.
Yeah.
This guy's like all beefed up. It's
More
crazy.
like Killmonger, not Killmonger.
Yeah. Jonathan Majors looks like Killmonger, man. Honestly,
he just looks like a stone cold killer in that film.
He does.
And I think he plays like someone who grew up as a youngster with Michael B. Jordan's character, Creed, Adonis Creed.
Yeah.
He was like before they got in trouble respectively.
Right.
But I think what happened to his best Jonathan Majors character is that he got way worse off.
Right. He stayed in the streets.
He was locked up for longer, stayed in the streets. And so he kind of wants this little bit of a revenge on his old best friend for having the better life and the cushy, quote unquote cushy life.
He feels like he took the life that he deserved.
Yeah. So he's coming back to show him up in a sense.
Yeah, man. Should be interesting.
Obviously, with any like Rocky movie, what we're gonna get is he's gonna get the shit kicked out of him in the beginning, and then he's gonna come back.
Yeah, and then he's gonna come. I mean, that's what the Rocky films are about. It's a comeback story,
except for the first one.
The first movie he lost, man,
and the last one too. The last one
he lost too. So people forget, like this is an underdog story. So you kind of have that. You have to have that element in there,
right?
But in any case, we're talking about Devotion here. So, yes, it's starring Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell from Top Gun. And Glenn Powell is also a producer, so this is his baby. So he's been trying to get this film off the ground for a couple of years now. And this is the story of Jesse Brown, who is played by Jonathan Majors, the first black man to complete flight training with the U.S. Navy.
Awesome.
And his wingman, Tom Herter, who is played by Glenn Powell, and their partnership throughout the Korean War. So it seems pretty interesting. It seems very impactful.
It's super interesting, like because like the Korean War is like the forgotten war, so like we don't really see too many stories about it. We don't really learn much about it in like classes and history and stuff.
No,
it's
man,
like,
it's one of those
World War II, Hitler was bad, and Vietnam and blah blah blah.
Right, but you know why? Because it's not so easily dissected, and it's a fuck up,
and it's not so easily propagandized either. It's
right.
Like,
it's a fuck up. It wasn't like we were technically the good guys in there. Like there was a lot of nasty stuff that was happening.
It was a war within the Cold War, basically.
Right. That in Vietnam. Yeah. So yeah, those were the nasty wars that we kind of pushed to the side.
That's a great track history with those two.
No. So yeah, we mostly hear about like World War I, World War II movies, but like they did with like Red Tails and the Tuskegee and all that stuff.
Which another thing that's coming out, kind of like related to this. I think it's about the Korean War. I might be mistaken. It might be another World War II thing, but Spielberg and Tom Hanks are doing another Band of Brothers-esque series.
Are they?
Yeah, it's called
wow.
I think it's called like
Band of Brothers on HBO was huge, man.
It's one of my favorite series of all time.
That was amazing. Yeah.
So it's
great.
It's the Air Force, like back when in those days, I think the Air Force was tied with the Army. So
that's right. Yeah. There wasn't really an Air Force until after that.
Like those guys, something like of the sky, Masters of the Air is what it's called.
Okay.
And this is like a series that this is actually based on World War II, or it's World War II again. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's kind of cool to see like that side, like more of these Air Force and air battle type things, because we always see like tank movies or like infantry movies.
Yeah, Fury. Fury was pretty good.
Invasion movies like D-Day stuff and shit like that. We never see like air battles a lot. We get like we get a couple like shitty movies like that one with James Franco and
which one was that?
That was like it was another World War II movie.
Midway.
I think that was with
one of those. I remember Midway came out and it just like bombed. Like nobody.
It was like one of the Jonas Brothers.
Was it? No, actually, one of the Jonas Brothers is in this film, Devotion. Yeah.
No, it's Nick Jonas, right? Or
I think it's Nick Jonas.
Am I right?
Or Joe? No, it's Joe Jonas.
Is it Joe?
Yeah, he's in this.
Oh, it's one of the fucking guys.
Yeah. I remember looking this up, and he's in Devotion.
Like it's really cool to see more of like that because it's kind of like hard to adapt too. like getting it right and like doing it well. Like Top Gun's the outlier in my opinion.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Especially like the new one. Like people are like, oh, how are you gonna top the first Top Gun? How are you gonna top Top Gun? And then they came
and they totally topped it.
Tom Cruise
totally did.
Is a crazy genius, and I'll admit it.
Well, hold on, wait a minute. Director too, man.
Yeah,
the director too, because he directed Tom Cruise, Oblivion.
Yeah,
and he's the same guy that did Tron. I forget his name. Krasinski.
Okay, yeah,
Joseph Krasinski. He did the new Top Gun. The guy's a good director, man. He's pretty solid.
Can't cancel out Bruckheimer either. So like
that is true. The OG, Bruckheimer, for sure. But getting back to this, so a little caveat. We talked about this while we were muted, but a little caveat about this film Devotion was that Glenn Powell, who has been trying to get this film off the ground for a while, went to go pitch the movie to Jonathan Majors. And typically when you're pitching a movie and when you're taking these meetings, you go to like a fancy restaurant and you just talk about it and you go through all the details. And then you see, and then you kind of see, whether or not they want to work on the project and whatnot. So for this one, it was a little interesting because he reached out to Jonathan Majors and Jonathan basically said, all right, we can take the meeting, but I want to take it in a Turkish Russian bathhouse in New York. And if it's the one that I'm thinking, because there is a famous Turkish bathhouse in New York, that is pretty interesting. Because from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of shit that goes down at this bathhouse.
I'm sure a lot of shit does go down.
so that's a hell of a that's something different. And from what I read, Glenn Powell was very surprised, but he took the meeting anyway. And it seems like Jonathan Majors put him in the hot seat, so to speak, man. Yeah, but they spent like 2 hours.
That's crazy
in the sauna there, at 109 degree.
That's fucking nuts.
type of temperature. And they talked about the movie in detail.
That's nuts. Like I can't.
That's insane.
I could just imagine like the scene right there. Like it'd be such a cool thing to film.
Yeah.
Just Glenn Powell's face, just like sweating.
And just sweating bullets. He's like, all right, so this is what I'm selling you on. This is the film.
Russian, Turkish, naked dude in the corner hitting a hookah, like
yeah, his legs spread and all that, chest hair all out. Yeah, man, I can imagine that.
That's literally like something out of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's crazy shit. It's crazy shit. But it's interesting that it's he made that kind of move. So I don't know. I just a little interesting caveat that I wanted to talk about.
It's like that tells like the pull that Jonathan Majors has right now to be like, because usually when you're going after a role, you're gonna be the person that's like
you're the one accommodating.
Yeah. But when someone's going after you, it's like, oh well, wait a second, let me.
Right. Yeah. The tables have turned. You're like, no, you're coming to where I go, where I want, where I say.
Yeah. That's awesome. Like I look forward to seeing way more of this guy. I hope he gets like the attention he deserves. And
man, he's on a roll.
I have a feeling between like Creed 3, and this movie Devotion, and his role as Kang, he's gonna be like, he's gonna be killing it, dude.
Yeah, he honestly, he's starting to remind me of Chadwick Boseman.
Kind of, yeah, but
not as far as like his performance wise, but in the way his career is just kind of snowballing,
right? Yeah,
into like some major stuff.
Because Boseman he was around for a while, and then
Boseman was around for a while. He did a lot of indies, and he did a lot of biopics.
Same thing, like similar to Anthony Mackie.
Same thing with Anthony Mackie. That's true. Yeah. That's true, man. Yeah, they were doing like kind of
a lot of like Anthony Mackie like when I was way younger, like in the mid aughts and stuff, and then like I saw him in Avengers. I'm like, holy shit, there's that guy.
Yeah,
and like
yeah. The thing about it is like to create this familiar face to people. Even if you don't know his name, like his full name, he's like, oh yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah, because like with Thanos, it's like, oh, it's Josh Brolin.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
With Kang, it's like, oh, that's Jonathan Majors.
Right.
Like,
but he's becoming that familiar face.
Right. Now it's like, I think in a year or so, it won't be, oh, that's the guy who plays Kang. It's gonna be, hey, that's Jonathan Majors.
Right. Yeah.
Household name.
That's true. Deal. He's stepping into the movie star realm now. I think what he's becoming.
I think the industry needs people like that to like represent it more.
Yeah.
Instead of like the nepotistic, type of Hollywood come up and
it used to be that way. It's changed now.
It's changing, but it's not quite there. It's still going.
Yeah.
But we need the everyday man to come in and be like, and show people that it's
not somebody whose dad was actor or producer or
'cause a lot
something.
of people think that like this industry is like, oh, you can't get into it unless you're fucking like rich or famous or have
You
connections.
got some kind of ties.
Yeah, but it's like you can do it. You just have to fucking you got to do your work.
Gotta be
you
consistent.
You got to show up. Yeah, you got to show up and do the work. And
got to keep doing it. Yeah,
you
that's
know,
right.
Bite the fucking bullet sometimes.
Yeah, man. You can just put yourself out there, really.
Yeah.
All right. So moving along here, we have the 3-body problem. I don't know too much about this. I was trying to do some research. I'm probably going to dig into this a little bit more. But this is
this is with the boys.
This is you're right. So the 3-body problem is a new series, a new show. Okay, I know you're getting it's a new show, right? That's being created. It's coming up on Netflix.
Yeah.
Do you want to take a guess on who's running the show?
Oh, I already you told me earlier.
Right.
So it's
all right. It is, of course, the 2 guys that created Game of Thrones.
Well,
the original Game of Thrones. Adapted. I'm sorry, not created. Adapted the original Game of Thrones on
David
HBO.
Benioff and DB Weiss.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this is their project now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like an interesting story. It is about an alien invasion, okay, and all the intricacies about that, and the politics behind that, and the dichotomy of welcoming these new beings to our planet, or being defensive just in case some shit goes down, because you don't exactly know what.
Sounds kind of like an Arrival situation.
Right.
Yeah.
It does. It does. I mean, we've seen this story. We've seen this story play out so many times before in different ways.
I know this series is popular because I did see mentions of it. It's now that like House of the Dragon has come around and Game of Thrones is being popular. Back in the conversation.
Yeah.
People are talking about these guys online,
right,
and like what they did to the show, and like how like the tumultuous like chain of events that happened with their careers
right
after Game of Thrones. And I saw some some worrying comments about people are like, oh, I don't want them to fuck up the show,
right. But in their defense,
it's already all finished. That's what they said. The fans that the comments I read said that the series is already done.
It's already done. Okay, I didn't know that.
And what we know about David Benioff and DB Weiss,
they started off,
much as they fucked up the ending of Game of Thrones,
they started off
they're
great.
they're very good at adapting.
They're great at adapting
out of source material that's already there. But when it comes to like filling in gaps and holes and making new things up, they are absolute shit.
Of course, you can see that in the evidence of like the last season of Game of Thrones. I would say the two last seasons,
especially the last 2.
Yeah,
you can still see some glimpse in like 5 and 6,
but you got to give them more credit. You got to give them credit where it's due, right? Because the first
4 seasons were like
first,
one of the best.
I would say probably maybe the first. How many seasons did they have?
There's 8, but the general consensus.
I would give them 6.
Okay,
the first 6 seasons. All right, everyone was on the shit. They did a great job, hands down. Look, man. As much as they fucked up the ending, they did a fucking fantastic job introducing this world to a wide audience. They literally got the entire world tuned in.
Yeah,
people that aren't even into fantasy, man.
It was huge. It was like the MASH.
So I got to give.
It was like the MASH of our generation. But here's the thing.
Yeah,
I've never seen something so popular in popular culture disappear so fast.
Because everyone remembers the last.
Like as soon as it ended, it was like, boop, bye.
Because no one wanted to hold on to that last memory. It's like the last bad taste in your mouth. It's like you have like a 5-course meal. It's like you start off great, but then like when you get to the end, like the dessert and everything, it's just shit. So
it'd be like if like at the end of Lord of the Rings, and like you're expecting like Frodo to get the ring in the fire and shit,
right? And
all of a sudden he just has some random orc come up, steal the ring, and then jump himself in there.
Yeah.
It's like that's like, what they did with the ending of Game of Thrones,
right? Yeah,
it's like this whole story of like the Song of Ice and Fire, which is Jon Snow, basically, who is the Targaryen child, is supposed to be like this savior fucking prince, basically. That's
right, the prince that was promised.
Yeah, that's one thing they talk about in the beginning that they never fucking like show up on.
Nope.
There's like so many like different plot variations that they wanted to do because they wanted to subvert expectations.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's basically what ruined it. And then they did a lot of things which was stupid, like forgetting actual things they wrote.
That's true. There was a lot of plot holes at the end.
At the end of like one of the episodes, they do the commentary or they talk about it, and the guy's like talking about how Daenerys' dragon got shot down by the fleet. He's like, "Oh well, Daenerys kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet," and it's like, really? Because they just spent like the last 3 episodes talking about it, and like,
yeah,
that's your excuse. Like,
yeah,
terrible. But yeah, so interesting to see this because I was wondering what the hell they've been up to because after Game of Thrones,
well, they've been trying to look.
They
for
were
another
supposed
property.
to go do Star Wars.
That's right.
And then
that failed.
They, the official word is that they had differences and they went separate ways. But reality is that they fucked up Game of Thrones and Disney was like, nope, we don't want you to do that. And then they signed some shit with Netflix. They're supposed to do something with that. I don't know what happened with that, but I haven't heard any. This is
Netflix.
So that must be the project that they because they signed a deal to make a thing. But they didn't come out with what it was going to be, so I guess that's what it is now. So,
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. They were looking for intellectual property to use.
That's an interesting thing too, because Netflix is like it's so hit or miss right now. It is.
It kind of is. Yeah. I mean, they're throwing darts at a board, and for them, I guess they're at a point where that works for them.
I don't know, man.
To be honest,
they're changing so many things so often, like price increases, canceling the sharing of accounts,
and,
like
that's true.
Canceling shows, like. They just finally came out with the word that they're going to renew Sandman, which is good. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
but that's like their most successful shows. They're like, I don't know, do we do it? I don't know. It's like, and then they fucking greenlight garbage because they want to. It seems like Netflix is doing this thing where they want to fill their board with content, and not quality content.
Right.
And they have they're milking the quality content they have, which is like Stranger Things.
They are milking it. They're not forgetting about that.
Yeah, they're gonna keep that shit. But it's like when they have like little shows come in that do well, they're like,
they're seeing what works. Basically, they're gonna see what works.
Expensive streaming service too. So it's like,
pretty much, man. But they're on top right now. Honestly,
they are on top still. But I think like streaming services like HBO Max is coming up.
Yeah,
they've been doing a lot. Of shit. Like I'm actually watching more on HBO Max than I have ever.
Really?
Like I barely touch Netflix these days.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think I've been watching Manifest on Netflix. That's one thing we'll talk about when we get to that section. But yeah, it's just I don't know. It's very I think would say it's a tumultuous time for streaming.
Yeah, it is.
It's not going to go anywhere, but it's like who's going to come out on top? It's like
that's always going to be the case, man.
Yeah.
It's what I feel like. What determines whether or not you win is the quality of shows that
when you play the Game of Thrones.
I think it's really the quality of shows that you have.
Is. Yeah, I mean,
at the end of the day,
like I think it's actually a good way to segue into. Oh no, we got one more to talk about for you.
Yeah, there's one more. All right, so just to wrap up the 3-body problem, it is very well known, at least in China. I mean, this book came out in 2008. They're just really adapting it for America now.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I hear, they've turned this into an anime. They've turned this into like a podcast story. They've done a couple of things with this already in China.
So it's pretty popular over there.
It's super popular. So I think that they're just bringing that over since it's popular out there. They're bringing that over.
That makes sense. Yeah,
and they're adapting it for American audiences.
And like we said, like. David Benioff and DB Weiss are great at adapting. So hopefully, this might be a redemption for their career a little bit. We'll see.
Hopefully, if they finish it fucking right. The most important thing in a series is how you end it, man. It's always how you fucking end it. Lost a bunch of them, man. It's just always how you fucking end it.
That's the hardest part about any story is how to end. And I think that's kind of like, I think it's going back to like Game of Thrones. That's probably why Martin's having such a hard time getting his fucking books out.
Yeah, that's true.
He's supposed to have 2 more books done. He says the penultimate book is about 75% done, but it's about 10 years late.
Yeah,
and so
it's pretty late.
A lot of fans are like,
a lot of fans
waiting. Think that he's gonna die before he finishes.
A lot of people have been waiting.
It's gonna be like a Robert Jordan with Wheel of Time scenario where he doesn't finish his books and shit.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's disappointing because it's like such a rich universe.
Yeah,
and like I hope he does flesh it out. And
you just got to tie up the loose ends, man. That's really what it comes down to, honestly. I mean, didn't you like the Sopranos ending?
That's a fucking throwback.
I'm just saying. I mean, we're talking about series finales. So, yeah, man. That one was interesting, wasn't it?
That one actually was funny because a lot of people thought their cable went out when it happened.
Yeah. No, a lot of people thought it was just like, what
the fuck is my cable's out? What the hell's going on?
What just happened here? What? Yeah, the TV turn off. What?
My favorite reaction to that finale was good old Robert Zamora's because he hates Journey.
What did he? Oh, no kidding.
He despises Journey. Shout out Robbie, love you, buddy. And
shit.
it's funny because I knew he hated Journey for so long. He's always hated Journey, and I had seen Sopranos like as it came out and stuff, and he watched it later on, and I didn't tell him.
Yeah, so he was caught by surprise.
He's like, I'm getting towards the finale. I'm like, ha.
You're in for it.
He was
nice.
fucking mad.
Oh my god, that's great. That's fucking great. I wouldn't have said shit either. All right, let me just wrap this up as far as industry news.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I feel about this. Stephen King is probably pissed, but there is going to be an It prequel.
Oh shit.
Yeah, which is weird. I don't understand why they
need it.
No, don't need it. Story
and
as
it's not King involved, and
yeah,
there's no story for this, right?
They're adapting. They're taking the adaptation from the movies, and they're using that.
Like this, just from like the little tidbits from the movies that we've
right.
Far.
So this is kind of tapping into, and again, a lot of this information is still on the wraps because it was just announced. But let's see. The show has been speculated to include information on the backstory of Pennywise the Clown, Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah.
However, given how Pennywise is just an avatar of it, it's not clear what the backstory is. Whether we're talking about the being, the interdimensional being, which will fuck up the story.
Yeah, it's a mystery that's kind of like
I love that mystery. Just leave it the fuck alone. We don't understand what it is. It's just this thing. Or if the it being adapted the avatar of Pennywise from an actual person. Yeah. So I mean, it's just a bunch of speculation. But yeah, this is what I've got. Let's see here. We've got showrunners Jason Fuchs. That's the guy's name. Sorry. Jason Fuchs and Brad Kane have them tapped as showrunners. I don't know those guys. And the series has been committed to HBO Max. So, yeah. But yeah, man. So I don't know. I don't think we need it. It's still going to be in the same town, the town of Derry in Maine, and it's just going to focus on that. No story on who the leads are. So
it's been announced, but it hasn't.
All of the information is under wraps right now.
Who's doing this?
I just mentioned
the studio.
It's HBO Max.
Oh, it's HBO Max. Okay,
yeah,
I forgot.
It's HBO Max. Cool. So, but yeah, man, I don't think it's needed. I think they're just milking.
Yeah, they're milking this. Yeah,
they're milking it, but it's just gonna
like
ruin
the sequel, I guess worked, but
the movies are great. I think, in my opinion, the movies are great.
Yeah, I don't know. You said King's gonna be pissed about this. Do you think?
Because Stephen King is usually pissed when they do dumb shit like this. He's not happy when they adapt things because he always feels like they're not gonna get the fucking. They're not gonna get the essence of the story right. He was happy with some of the stuff from the It movies. He was happy with Dr. Sleep. There's only certain things. The majority of the time, he hates when people adapt. He fucking hated The Shining. He was pissed. He was pissed at Kubrick. He never liked it. But yeah, he's probably gonna hate this too because he's like, what are you guys doing?
I wonder if he'll even be involved. Do you think he'll be involved?
I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see. There's no confirmation on that. So
it might. I wonder if it was me, I'd be like, all right, let me check it out. What are you doing? And then it's like, oh shit, I don't like that.
Right.
I'm done.
Yeah.
That game's when tied to it.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I didn't make that.
Right. That's true. Yeah. Just kind of like walk away.
There's so much like King material. It's like, go do something else.
Yeah.
Go fucking do something else.
But it's because Warner Brothers owns the rights. So
I want to see more of like Dark Tower shit.
Dude, listen, if you're not gonna fucking do it right, don't. Dark Tower is a very touchy subject for me, man, because it's like his magnum opus. That's his masterpiece.
Yeah, it's his entire universe.
They fucked up the movie.
Yeah.
And so I understand
the
his
one
point
with
of view.
Idris Elba, right?
The one with Idris Elba and
the kid, whatever his
McConaughey.
Oh yeah.
Great, two great actors, but the rest of the movie was shit. So this is the typical Hollywood move. It was just like, come on, man. And you don't squeeze everything in one fucking film, 1 2-hour sitting. That story is fucking massive. That's a series that deserves like maybe 3 seasons or more. So yeah, I mean, I can understand it from King's point of view. Like, whenever Hollywood gets their grubby paws on things, they always fuck it up. They do something stupid. But yeah, that's my wrap up for industry news, man.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's some good stuff. I'm excited for Jonathan Majors. I want to see a lot more of him.
Man, the guy's killing it.
I think in the next 10 years he's gonna be fucking huge.
He's definitely killing it.
Let me pull my little, so I don't have to go squint at Ellison's fucking monitor.
Yeah.
Let's see, what do we got? See, I got Star Wars: The Acolyte.
Right.
That's a big one for me.
You've got some cool stuff over there.
This one's super interesting to me for a number of reasons. First and foremost is it gets a glimpse into an era of Star Wars history that I think is like super not talked about.
Okay.
And also like very like, what's the hell was that about too? It's like give me more. I want to know more about that, because it's like the High Republic era is supposedly like at the tail end of the Republic, before all the shit went down, where it was at its highest, and the Jedi Order was at its highest, and it was most prolific, and it was like spread out throughout the galaxy way more than
this is the old Republic.
Yeah.
Right.
And the High Republic era, I think it lasts most of like Yoda's lifetime. Yoda's like 900 years old at the end of Return of the Jedi and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's been around for a fucking long time.
I mean, he's kind of seen things rise and fall.
So this like, as far as canon sources say, this era ends in 82 BBY, which is before Battle of Yavin. The Battle of Yavin, for those who aren't familiar with, is the battle that takes place at the end of Episode 4 when they destroy the Death Star. So that's 82 years before the rebellion basically kicks the fucking Empire's ass.
Right.
Which I would think would involve Sheev Palpatine a little bit, because he's pretty old by the time all that stuff goes down.
Right.
But
I mean,
the series is supposed to be about a former. The log line I've read is that it's a former Padawan teams up with their former Jedi Master, and kind of like does this buddy cop thing where they're investigating crimes that are going around on Coruscant or wherever the hell they're going to go to.
Right.
And in the process, they discover these dark side things going on, these dark side plots, these dark side like sinister shit. And supposedly it's supposed to like lead into the events that set the events for Phantom Menace.
Interesting.
So it's basically setting up the prequels.
Interesting. Okay.
And for like the sources, those who may have read like the old like EU for Star Wars and stuff, like the Plagueis book and shit like that. Right. Darth Plagueis was Palpatine's master.
Right.
Palpatine was always the second. With the Sith, there's 1 and 2. There's always 2, no more, no less. Right. So he was always
anything outside of that
is
right.
Yeah.
Is considered a what?
It's usually like a dark.
It's a dark Jedi,
or dark warrior, dark side user,
right? Whatever. Because you're not really considered a Sith.
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
Yeah, kind of like how even though he wasn't proclaimed his apprentice, Anakin was always going to be Palpatine's apprentice, and he kept Dooku as like, "Oh, you're my apprentice," but it's like, yeah,
oh yeah. So that was bullshit.
Yeah, so
he had his eyes set.
Like the Inquisitors is a good example too.
Right,
yeah,
they're not Sith.
Yeah,
but I've gotten into this argument. I've had to clear this up with a lot of friends because they're calling Inquisitors Sith, and I'm like, no, they're not Sith, and they're like, but they have the red light, and I'm like, no, it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Dark side users, they're not
right.
Yeah, it's like similar to how like Ahsoka isn't an evil Jedi, but she's not even a Jedi; she's a Force user.
There you go.
She left the order. Jedi is an order. It's not a being.
Right.
It's a belonging.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. You're absolutely right.
The dark side and the light side and the gray is the actual attributes of the Force.
Right.
And the label is what the orders put on it.
Right.
So with the Sith, eons ago, Darth Bane was the first one to institute the rule of 2.
Now you're getting into some history. Darth Bane, man.
Back in the day, the Sith were like numerous like the Jedi, and they're always infighting because they're fucking evil and they're fucking
that's what they
crazy.
Do. Right.
And so Darth Bane was like,
there's a lot of that.
Fuck all of you. You're all gonna die. And I'm gonna institute this rule of 2. There's gonna be one master, one apprentice forever. So with this, how they're gonna tie into like this dark side shit. Obviously, when there's dark side, there has to be the Sith involved.
Right.
Because they're the ones pulling the strings.
Right.
And Plagueis was he's a moon in the lore, which is the guys with the huge tall heads, and you see You see a couple of them on I think it's Utapau when Obi-Wan gets blasted down in Order 66. And before that, he meets with that tall dude.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
he's like, they're everywhere. Like, they're all around. That's a moon. So it's the same species. That's what Plagueis is.
Right.
And then
okay.
Chief Palpatine is his apprentice. So I think at this time he's probably a boy, maybe, or maybe we'll get Plagueis and not Palpatine. But I imagine
that would be interesting.
Imagine we'll get some good insight into this like period that was so mysterious and
this is live action, just to be clear. Okay.
So I have, let's see, I can pull up the cast real quick, but as I'm doing that, one of the co-lead, as far as I could tell, because the way the cast list, he was the second one to pop up.
Okay.
So I assume he's second billing.
Right.
Is Lee Jung-jae, who was the
Squid Games
lead for Squid Games.
Okay.
And he won an Emmy for his performance and as lead actor, and I thought he did amazing.
Yeah,
and I know you saw him finish Squid Games.
Right. Yeah, I started watching it again. I started picking back up. Yeah,
but he did fucking great in that, and it's cool to see
killed
him,
that role.
It's cool to see him get
well, this is huge. This is Star Wars.
Yeah, to go from like a struggling Korean actor to getting like one of the biggest Netflix series of all time. It's like over Stranger Things as far as a viewer for a.
Is that really it? Is that confirm that?
No, the first season of Squid Games had the most views of any like series.
I just don't get it.
Yeah.
How? Okay, I don't know.
I'm
still lost. I'm still
from,
lost.
Like obscurity to like boom.
Yeah.
It's fucking huge, and it's like like that. As a studier of like film history and like international film, it's really cool to see people like outside the mainstream come in.
It's a nice
perspective.
It's a great Cinderella story. I like that. I like that. That's awesome.
His co-star, I assume, the first billing is Amanda Stenberg. Never heard of her. Don't know what she's been in. The rest of this cast, besides Carrie Ann Moss, is unfamiliar to me. So Carrie Ann Moss from Matrix is in this, but the rest of them are all like no names.
Yeah.
But Amanda Stenberg has first bill. Lee Jung-jae is second bill. So I assume she's going to play the former Padawan. Okay. And he's going to be the Obi-Wan type Jedi Master.
Who's producing this? We have Filoni or Favreau behind any of this at all?
Let's see here. Producer.
Just want to get an idea of the team behind this.
I think Filoni's probably busy with Ahsoka, but
yeah, you might be right.
We have Kathleen Kennedy, of course, Simon Emmanuel, Jeff F. King, and Jason McAuliffe. I don't know any of these.
I don't know any of those guys, man. All right.
And then those are the EPs, which actually means very little. An executive producer is basically anyone that facilitates the production. Yeah, could be money, could be fucking like whatever.
Yeah. They're not actual showrunners.
Rain Roberts and Damien Anderson are producing. I still don't know any of those guys either. So
yeah, doesn't sound familiar.
No
at all.
Names, some no name actors.
Okay,
it's a risk.
I hope they don't do Kenobi.
I hope they don't either. But I think with Andor, they probably learn a few things.
Andor was fucking great.
Andor is some of the best Star Wars. Actually, I would fucking rank it fucking like top 3.
There are only 10 episodes right now.
There's 12 total.
12 total, but so far there's 10. I'm up to date. Every single episode is
the writing is fucking phenomenal.
The
acting is amazing.
The acting, dude, the cinematography.
Cinematography is fucking beautiful.
Dude, I saw the last episode like 3 times, and I was like, this is just shot so perfectly.
I said this, I think last podcast, the podcast before, it reminds me a lot of like the feel reminds me a lot of House of Cards.
Really, you get that kind of that tone.
Really, like if you mix that with some action, like a few things that like like the whole rebellion aspect. Yeah, that's what I get, because there's so much like intrigue that's going on. There's a lot of conversation, like the way they film.
There's tons of conversation.
The way they film these dialogue scenes, and the way like the
the
ambience feels so similar to House of Cards and like that.
Yeah,
where it's like the scheming and the. You can feel there's sinister shit going on behind the scenes, and it's like
it catches. Okay, it does catch that mood. And I did look up the cinematographer. They have different cinematographers for every episode. Okay, but there's one in particular that did the last episode, and I did look this guy up. He's freaking good. I forgot his name. But man, that last episode was freaking fantastic with Andy Serkis. I don't know if you saw it. Have you seen it?
I did not see this week's.
You did not see the prison.
I didn't see the one today.
Oh, shit, man.
No.
Okay,
I've been busy all day. I'm sorry.
It's freaking good, man.
I saw the last one where they
Serkis kills it.
Are you talking about the one last week where they're uncovering the plot to kill all the prisoners?
No.
So this is the next one.
This is the next
I haven't
one.
seen this next one.
Right.
No.
This is their move, man. This is a big move.
Yeah.
Shit,
I
bro.
was surprised to see Circus. I didn't know he was involved.
I didn't know he was involved either. It
saw
was
him,
a nice
like,
surprise.
I was like, all right.
Yeah. It was a nice
And
surprise.
he's a fucking great actor.
But dude, oh man, him and Diego, man, kill it.
Yeah, this is episode
the acting.
10.
You're right. This is episode 10.
Okay, so
the acting, and then I had to watch it 3 times because the cinematography. I was like, fuck, they're doing a great job, man. It's fantastic. Circus has his moments. You'll understand. He has these moments where you see that character, you see the struggle in the character, and it starts to like it's good acting.
Yeah, well, I know like the last episode, like where he's spoilers. You know, where he's the guy that's like, don't fuck with me. I only got this much time left. I'm gonna, you know, like
see another side, man.
Then you know, Luna's character's like, well, dude, you're gonna fucking die.
Right. Yeah.
They're gonna kill all of us.
And yeah. They take those two aspects, like Luna kind of telling him, like beating him down with the truth, and then Circus's character just
slowly like
shifting and shifting and shifting and shifting. Dude, the way it played out is fucking great.
I noticed this last episode too. Is like Circus is so good with his eyes. He can like display, like you can see
small emotions.
You can see the calculations in his head turning.
He's
like realize his character's realizing
he's an actor's actor.
Yeah,
honestly.
And like, you know where that comes from is because he was the pioneer of the fucking motion cap.
Yeah.
So what does that?
He knows
on?
about.
He knows his movements.
His movements are fucking key, man. Yeah.
Like, that's like the movements display so much emotion too, and he knows that because he did that for a fucking living for so long.
Yeah,
between so many characters.
Yeah,
I mean, he was Snoke, he was Caesar, you know, Gollum,
he was King Kong.
Dude,
I was watching King Kong the other day, and I saw Andy Serkis. I was like, shit, that's right, he's in this film. And then as I'm watching, I'm like, wait a minute, shit, he played Kong too.
And Serkis too is like, he was originally not gonna be Gollum. I think.
Really?
I think he was gonna come out and just do like his voice. Because they were gonna like originally gonna do, it's in the making of like Lord of the Rings and stuff.
Okay.
And like in the beginning, like the first movie production, like they're realizing, okay, we can't really do this full CGI. I think like it was a chain of events where he kind of came on and like did some stuff, and like they were like, oh shit, let's just do that.
Yeah,
he's so good in the suit, and like you know, I think what he did is
he's the mocap king
as a double.
Yeah.
To like for the actors to like act with, and then they realized, like, holy shit, like this guy can actually, like, this is going
right.
Fucking,
like, no, we're gonna keep you in the suit,
and then just fucking like totally like pioneered the motion cap industry and stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, changed the game. But no, I'm a big fan of the last. You know, episode 10 of Andor, fucking great.
I gotta watch that. I watched it tonight. Let's
see. But all right, so back to Acolyte. I thought. So when it was first announced, I thought that they were going to do the continuation of Star Wars Rebels with Ezra.
No, that's gonna be Ahsoka.
Right. So Ahsoka is going to continue that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that makes sense. With General what's his face?
I think they did get an actor for Ezra. Didn't
Thrawn?
Oh, Thrawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah.
Who's such an obscure character in the canon. That's not. I don't want Ezra Miller.
No, not Ezra Miller, but
I don't want fucking Google's.
That's what it popped up. Yeah.
Because how many people are named Ezra? Really?
That's true. Yeah, that's like the first thing that comes up on Google.
Taylor Gray seems to be played. Maybe that's the fucking cartoon. Who's playing Ezra and Ahsoka? Iman Esfandi.
Oh, that's Aladdin.
Oh, from the Aladdin movie?
The Disney movie.
Oh, shit.
That's Aladdin.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome.
Let's see. Let's see if he looks the part. Oh, he must be a fucking... Oh, come on. It's just like some random people. Fucking... It'll fucking autocorrect. He does look like Ezra. Holy shit.
Yeah, he does
looks just like him.
Yeah. Awesome.
Wow.
That works. Oh, no, that's not Aladdin. I'm sorry. That's totally not the guy.
Quite a guy.
No, that's not the guy. But yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Which is, I'm excited for that because, you know, this is like Acolyte's great, but it's like, this is a great way to segue into Star Wars in general because so much is like happening. And I think a lot of people like forget like Ezra's story. and maybe not even like saw Rebels, but Rebels is so like those are interested in like Jedi lore and like Star Wars lore in general.
Yep.
They go so deep into that shit.
Yeah.
And like honestly,
same thing with
I
the
would
Clone
say,
Wars.
like
Clone Wars is
Ezra's
great.
like the fucking like this like the spiritual Jesus of like the Jedi at
Pretty
this
much.
point.
Yeah, pretty
Like,
much.
Yeah. Like
yeah.
literally, he's going through dimensional like portals and stuff, and uncovering like the actual secrets of the Force and like the father, the son and the daughter,
That's right.
and
Yeah.
all that, and
which
like,
they touched on in Clone
like,
Wars
and shit that like Luke probably never even knew until he was way older.
Yeah.
Like, and Ezra was
seems
doing,
like we have another Messiah.
And Ezra was doing this at the age that Luke was as he was shooting down the Death Star.
Yeah.
He was already going through portals and like checking shit out.
That's crazy. That's what I thought the Acolyte was gonna be about, because I was just getting hype. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
It was like Acolyte has like a dark connotation to it, though.
Does
like,
it really?
Yeah.
I guess. Okay.
It's like an apprentice, but like
but that's why a dark apprentice. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But yeah. All right. So Acolyte seems good, but there aren't any characters that we are familiar with.
I think well,
as far as leading
the High Republic era, so Yoda's alive, might get some of him,
right?
But as far as like the rest of that we're familiar with, most of the characters are human characters who have normal lifespans. So this is 80 years before the first New Hope and shit. So I think maybe that's good. They're going with unknowns because unknown characters, unknown actors.
Well, yeah, because they can do whatever.
And then,
now it's like it's a new story, so they can develop it however they want.
I'm excited. Like the news is that production just started filming, so we're underway on production on that. And as far as timeline goes, I'd say look for that in like the late next year. Yeah, maybe early 2024.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Next on my list is something that I'm super excited about. And
that's right.
Saw,
Danny Boyle's back.
Oh, Danny Boyle. Well, he's always been back, but back in like a fucking good way.
Yeah.
So 28 months later.
Yeah.
Danny Boyle wants to make it. Alex Garland has the script. He wrote it a while ago. It's ready to go.
Alex Garland is an interesting director. He makes interesting films.
Well, I'm not a big horror guy. Like I've talked about this before. I'm not big on like gratuitous body horror and shit like that. I like psychological horror. I like, getting like that thriller type shit. When I watched 28 Days Later, I was like, holy fuck, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I love like it's such a indie type film. I'm not sure if like as far as the funding went on it, if it was quite legit indie, but I know they filmed it with a I want to get the name right. It's a Canon XL1 digital camcorder.
Yeah.
Which is nowadays it's pretty fucking cheap to buy. Like, I think back then it was like around a grand or two.
That's super. Yeah, back then, but that's a super old camera.
Yeah. So they filmed the entire movie on a camcorder. Yeah. And like it's one of the best movies I've ever fucking seen. Yeah. Like honestly.
And it was smart. It works with the theme.
Yeah.
It's
because not quite like a Cloverfield, but like still kind of like a.
Well, it kind of started that whole revolution, to be honest, because you had a bunch of movies after that were like, oh, we need to do what they're doing.
Yeah, but it wasn't quite found footage. It was still.
It wasn't found footage, but it was kind of were they before Blair Witch?
I think Blair Witch was 96.
Okay.
So it's 28 Days Later was. I think that was later.
It was later? Okay. All right. I wasn't too sure.
Let's see. 20 Days Later.
I wasn't too sure because there was this
2002.
Because Hollywood did roll with this kind of camcorder, low grade resolution type thing for a while.
Blair Witch was 99, and then 28 Days is 2002.
Okay, all right. So they borrowed from this. Okay, that makes sense. But no, it went with the theme because it's just like, you're in this world. It's like he woke up from the hospital, so like the Walking Dead type of situation.
It's definitely like a total pull on that.
Yeah, pretty much. But no, the camcorder look, this found footage type of look worked.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember when that movie came out. I thought it was going to be a regular zombie movie, and I was just like, oh no, they run. These fuckers
changed like the game for the zombies.
They changed the game for zombies.
It was no longer the Romero,
it wasn't like brainless, like
it wasn't like
brains. No, these fuckers come at you full speed, speed, man. So yeah, it changed the game. Like you can't just walk away from them.
It's like it reminds me of like the Whites in Game of Thrones. It's the same thing. Like
the White
exactly
Walkers.
where the Whites, the reanimated dead.
Oh, those. Oh yeah, that's right.
fucking run. It's
Yeah,
like
that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, this movie is basically ready to go. It's all but confirmed. Cillian Murphy is Killian or Cillian?
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy has teased this on his socials. I mean, he was the lead in the original.
Is he back up for this?
I think he is. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
If he's teasing it, then I think it's coming. News has been coming out like the last couple of weeks, left and right about it. You know, it seems pretty much. I mean, you get a script, you get a director, you get an actor. It's like, what the fuck? A studio would be stupid not to do this.
Yeah, they're getting a team back together.
Especially because like so many of these movies are getting way more popular these days. Like, you know, the horror genre is huge right now.
That's true.
And this would be like awesome to see. You know, 28 Weeks Later was good. It was different. It wasn't the found like the camcorder shit. But
no,
it was good, but it wasn't nearly as good as the original. In my opinion.
Right. That's true. It just showed another aspect of it.
I think like after this much time, if Garland has a script and Boyle wants to make it, like I don't think Boyle did the second one, did he?
No. I don't think
so yeah, Boyle's back with it, and I'm on board, dude. 100%.
I'm interested in seeing where Alex Garland takes this because I've seen all of his films thus far.
Yeah.
He is a very psychological. He tries to mind fuck you. So I wonder where he's going to take this.
Yeah. Well, I think. All this news coming out recently with the, it's got to be coordinated. Obviously, the social media shit. I'd imagine to hear some more news in the next couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably get some production underway and maybe like spring. That's what I would guess. If that's the track record I'm thinking of right now, that would make sense. But yeah, 28 months later.
Okay.
I'm up for it.
Okay, cool.
Last on my news, we have House of the Dragon season 2. Fucking dude, House of the Dragon I loved it. It won the fantasy wars hands down.
It sure did.
It fucking shit all over Rings of Power.
It sure did.
It fucking like.
I still like Rings of Power though. I still like it, man.
I like it so much. I'm going back to watch Game of Thrones.
Wow, that says a lot. That's huge. I probably won't do that.
No. But so the production is set to begin in April 2023, which is interesting to me because it seems like a lot of shows these days are going this 2-year route. Where you have 2 years between seasons.
It's fine.
It's fine, but it's like this is a 4-season show. Mm-hmm. Like, do you think fans are going to have it in them to really wait to like 8 years to get this closure?
Of course.
Like, and then more.
Of course.
Or do you think that they might ramp up production in the future and you get more, maybe a year and a half? Or
they might.
Yeah,
they might.
I think maybe this one for me, like I think that they weren't sure what was going to happen. So they're like, let's not bank on it. Let's not set it up right away.
Right. They were testing it out, and they were successful. It was great. They executed it perfectly.
And now they don't have to worry about child actors because, well, they have the young. No, they'll replace them. It's like the fucking.
That depends. That depends on how much,
like
time jumping they're going to do, or whether or not.
The jumping of time is basically done.
We're not completely sure because they might do something different for the next season.
No, because it's following in the Fire and Blood story of the Dance of Dragons, which is the Targaryen civil war between Rhaenyra Targaryen and Aegon II. And we got to that point. So Aegon II has been crowned. It goes into all that shit. This is as Martin and the showrunners basically said, is that this was like the prequel, setting up the events that happen for the Dance of Dragons.
Okay.
Because it takes place like over so many fucking years that they had to like, it just made more sense for them to like, get that out of the way and build the characters.
Right.
But now we're at
this is the setup.
Now we're at the point where they're all basically of the ages that they're supposed to be when the battles take place. And we already have like the first instance where Vhagar and Aemond, ate fucking Rhaenyra's second born and shit. So like that sets up like that sets up this event called Blood and Cheese in the books.
Interesting.
Yeah. Where Daemon basically gets revenge on Aegon's children, who is married to his sister. So there's an event, spoilers, in the books where Blood and Cheese are these like fucking like conniving people called Blood and Cheese who capture fucking I'm forgetting her fucking name, the wife of Aegon II.
Okay.
And basically he's like, hey, choose which kid's gonna die.
Oh wow.
And so she chooses like her youngest one, and instead they turn around and kill her oldest.
Of course.
As revenge.
Of course. Yeah.
And eventually all her kids die, and like half the Targaryens die, and most of the dragons die. So this is based the Targaryen Civil War.
Yeah.
So that event sets up that, and then we're gonna get like all the battles and I think they said it. We're gonna see like 20 dragons in this show at one point.
There are about 20 dragons.
Yeah.
I think there was a moment where Damon like says like all the dragon names, like it was one of the episodes.
He's been preparing for war forever.
Right.
That's
his thing.
He's like we have the dragons, we have this, we have got that, we got these wild ones, we can do that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then on that point too, there's an interesting plot point that comes in the books where there's these people called dragon seeds who are bastard children of Targaryens who have Targaryen blood, so they can claim dragons. So Daemon uses these people. He gives them autonomy to be like, hey, if you can claim a dragon, we'll legitimize you, and you can fight with us and shit. So he gives them the opportunity to claim dragons.
So that's interesting.
They can be part
of the war.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like Daemon's been doing this since he knew it was coming as soon as like Otto Hightower was scheming behind his brother's back. He's like, this is gonna be a war coming. And like
that's why he started taking eggs. He's like, no, I know what's coming. Yeah.
The dragons of the power.
The guy's ready.
Yeah, and Matt Smith is fucking phenomenal in that role, dude. He's so good.
Dude, I told you I didn't like him at first. Because I didn't like how he did Doctor Who. I wasn't a fan.
I heard a lot about that.
I wasn't a fan of his version of Doctor Who. I really was not. So I came into this and I was like, I don't know about him playing Damon, but he fucking crushed it. And then afterwards, I was a fan. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm in for it. Like every scene that he was in, I'm like, all right, what's he gonna do now?
I know. I'm so ready for this. Like, it revitalized my interest in like the world of Song of Ice and Fire and stuff. And I just hope that Martin gets his shit together. He actually there's an interview recently, and he's answering questions. He gets to a question about When's a Winner, which is the book that's going to come out. And he's like,
right.
He's like, all right, here's what it is. I'm done making predictions because every time I do, y'all get mad.
Shit.
He's like, I got 75% done. I'm still working on it, but I got all this other shit going on.
Yeah,
like he's like, it's gonna come out. It's a huge book.
Dude,
he said it's like twice as big as the other one.
I mean, listen, you gotta realize he's playing God. Like he's the architect of this entire world. There's
the modern Tolkien.
There's a lot of moving parts, man. So just don't interrupt the process.
It'd be like if like society was like talking to Tolkien in like the 50s. Finish your fucking book, damn it.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
yeah, exactly. It's the equivalent. Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Yeah, but Martin's created this universe that has so much potential. And I think that's where he gets caught up, because he's built such an expansive thing. He wants to go off in these other directions. He wants to go expand on these, and he wants to do that.
You got to remember also, man, like he's also human.
Yeah.
So he has, like imagine if you were in his shoes, the amount of pressure.
Yeah.
Right, to get this shit done and then do it well. It's like, fuck, I don't even,
especially after like the backlash of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, you're fucking afraid to sit down and write anything because you're like, well, fuck, people are just gonna rip this apart. So
there is he's even like changed things because of the reactions to, because he
see what I mean?
Supposedly he gave Dan and Dave the ending.
That's right. He gave him the manuscript.
I think the ending is probably going to be relatively similar, but it's how they get there is going to be so much different. I think he was like, all right, clearly that didn't work. So
right, yeah.
Or maybe he pulled a fast one on them. He's like, oh yeah, I'll tell you this.
It's possible.
Yeah,
or it's possible. But they did fill in a lot of the blanks. So
they did. But he also is advocating for he's like, we need more seasons, we need more time, and they're like, nope, I want to go do Star Wars, and then they fucked it up.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's so much coming out. Game of Thrones. We got all these series coming out. We got a couple animated series. We got the Jon Snow series. We got the
you told me about that.
We got a long ago prequel, 10,000 ships, where Nymeria sails across the sea.
That's right.
And basically conquers Dorne.
Yeah.
And not conquers, but like brings all the Dornish fucking feudalism together into a cohesive unit.
Yeah.
And that becomes
his own kingdom.
Yeah. Like Aegon couldn't conquer. Yeah. So super excited. I think it's revitalized the Game of Thrones universe.
Yeah.
And people are like, all right, we'll give it another chance.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And it fucking won the Fantasy Wars. So
it sure did.
Yeah.
It sure did.
And I'm down. Yeah. So that's my news.
All right, cool.
It's pretty good. It was a good chunk.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of good news we got.
Now I think we're into the fucking. We talked a little about Andor.
We did talk about Andor. I said what I needed to say.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, me too. So we got next on yours is this Cabinet of Curiosities.
The Cabinet of Curiosities. Not much to say because every episode is different. So the Cabinet of Curiosities is the show on Netflix. created and produced by Guillermo del Toro, um, one of our greatest horror directors in our generation. Um, he's the mind behind this, and it's essentially every episode is like a short, so it's about maybe 20 minutes,
like an anthology series.
Yeah, it's an anthology series. It's kind of like the Twilight Zone,
Okay.
or that kind of stuff. So it's kind of self-contained, and the beginning of every episode he comes out and there's this giant weird cabinet. It looks like a jack-in-a-box, but when he starts cranking it, it like starts to create a tower, and then it has all these different compartments that come out and all that stuff.
Like turns into like a wardrobe type.
Yeah, it turns into a wardrobe, and then whenever he's talking about a different episode, he pulls out a different compartment, and then
so it starts off with like a VO or a.
No, it's actually him.
Okay,
it's not a VO. He walks in
like the Twilight.
Just like the Twilight Zone with like a suit.
Is it Del Toro?
Yes, Del Toro.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he does a Twilight Zone thing with a suit and tie.
Hell yeah.
And he's like, well, in this story, and he does the Jack in a Box thing, and then it just and then he's talking about it, and then he pulls out like an artifact of the story. Yeah. So sometimes it's like, there's one episode where he's talking about like a storage locker key. Yeah. So the artifact, of course, is like a key. And then he's like, well, this story is directed by such and such. And he puts the artifact down. So every episode starts off in that way. He takes out an artifact that has to do with the story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
But I saw this during the Halloween weekend. It was awesome. A lot of it is very disturbing shit, weird stuff. A lot of it is Lovecraft inspired stuff, which I expected because he's a Lovecraft fanboy. Yeah. So you see a lot of tentacles and demons and otherworldly things, weird shit. I was watching it with my girl, and then there were a couple of moments where we were like, "What the fuck? Did that just happen? That's weird." But it's awesome. Check it out.
On?
It's on Netflix.
Okay. Is this like a 2022 series, or is this older?
No, it just came out. It came out right before.
Like, where's all the marketing at, man?
No marketing for it, man. We were looking for something because it was Halloween weekend, so we wanted to watch a bunch of scary stuff. And then I saw this come up as I was scrolling, and I was like, "Oh, Guillermo! Oh yeah, I'm on board." And we just started watching it. At first I thought it was a movie, and then I saw that it was a series, and I was like, oh, "Okay, cool." And then we binge watched the whole thing. Yeah. There's only a couple of episodes, actually. It's like maybe 8 or something like that, and they're like 20 minutes each. Okay. They're super short.
Is it like a limited series, or are they going to do another one?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Personally, I think they're good enough to, just do another season. Also, I am a big fan of series that do these kind of anthology things with different directors, different stories. So each one of these episodes was created by like a director. It wasn't Guillermo that created all of these.
He's like the showrunner.
He's just the showrunner.
Yeah.
He's actually supporting these directors.
He's like, here's the framework, make some stories within that.
Right. So it's like if you were just an up and coming director and you had a great horror script, he's giving you this platform.
So he wrote the scripts, but he's like, go do this.
No, he didn't write the scripts.
Okay.
All the scripts are done by each individual team.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So if you're a director and you have a good script, right, he's providing the platform for you. He's like, okay, you're going to be on this show because your horror script is fantastic.
It's kind of like a Black Mirror.
It is. It's very similar,
but a smaller episode,
much smaller episodes.
Yeah.
So I am always a fan of these type of series because it's not just one overarching vision. It's not like a story that you kind of have to play into. It's your own story. It's whatever short story that you have put together, and you're just kind of tagging along with a bunch of other directors.
Okay.
So every episode is its own production team, own directors, their own story. Cool, and I'm a fan of that because you're actually promoting more storytellers. So all the guys that were showcased in this series, they have something now under their belt as like a filmmaker. So they can point to that and say, hey, I have an episode on Netflix or something like that. Yeah. So I think that's
cool.
Like
he's giving it back to the little guy, basically.
Right. He's helping out the little guy, which I think is amazing. And he's attaching his name to it because, of course, he's fucking Guillermo. So, but yeah, I'm always a big fan of that stuff. So that's awesome.
So that's on Netflix for those interested. I gotta use the bathroom, so take a quick break, and then we're gonna get into some Wakanda Forever.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
One hour 20 minutes. That's not too bad. I thought it would be.
That's
I
not.
thought it was a lot longer than that.
That is not. All
My
right.
sense of time is fucking crazy, man.
All right, here we go, and we're back.
We are back
after our pee break.
Yeah, we're basically close to the end here.
Yeah, we're pretty much wrapping it up. So the last thing we want to talk about is
Wakanda Forever.
This is a big deal.
This is a huge deal.
Yeah, man. It's coming out tomorrow.
Tomorrow night. It's the traditional release for the Friday release. It's the release of the release of the release.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why they promote it
as the day.
They promote it the day
like
after.
It's like the Black Friday pre-sale, basically.
Right. Right. They talk about Black Friday, but you go there the day before and it's like fine. Yeah. So it's a weird situation. But in any case, yeah, Wakanda Forever. It's the blockbuster of the year. It's what everyone's been waiting for.
Well,
and of course
Top Gun 2 contend with, but you know,
I guess, yeah, man.
it's
20 years later,
it's big in terms of the significance of the whole movie. I think
yes,
is
that's true.
you know we got a legacy to deal with and a passing of the torch.
That's right. The cat's out of the bag.
Some
pun intended.
social issues to confront and shit like that, and it's a big it's as big as Black Panther was. This is going to be probably bigger.
Yeah, man. This is setting up some major stuff for the MCU.
Yeah. We've had these theories about Namor and the misdirection of Doctor Doom and
the misdirections and all that. And I still think there's a couple of surprises because they held on to the Namor surprise.
Yeah.
They held on to Letitia, Letitia Wright being the new, taking the,
Shuri.
Yeah, exactly. Shuri. They held on to that until about maybe a month ago?
Yeah, about a month ago.
Like the entire summer, everyone's been waiting, like, what are they going to do? Like, how are they going to replace them? Like, who are they going to show? People even thought like Killmonger was coming back.
Yeah.
Somehow. I don't know. Weird.
Let's not resurrect Black Panther.
Right, like after the snap, he just comes back. I don't know. It's just weird. Right? Yeah, it's strange. But in any case,
dead. Let's resurrect Killmonger instead.
Right? Yeah, it's so weird. But no, there's a lot of shit. There was a lot of stuff that they held on to their secrets, and they just slowly started to like release a lot of it. I still think there's a lot of secrets in the film once we watch it, once it officially gets released. But Namor wasn't really a hero at first.
He's like an anti-hero, right?
He's kind of an anti-hero. He's a bit of a dick. He's an egotistical.
So is Tony Stark, but
he's actually worse.
Really,
Namor is actually worse. Yeah. Tony Stark has a bit of a heart. He's trying to do the right thing. Namor is like,
he's like, fuck you
guys. I'm the best. My people are the best. We rule. That's really it. Anything outside of that, he's like, no, fuck you. But yeah, man, I am happy that they're introducing him, and I am even more happy how they introduced him, because they're going through this him being with the Mexican background, not really Mexican, but I would say
like
kind of Aztec background. And Namor is supposed to come from Atlantis, so they're
kind of combining these.
They're mixing those two, and they're making it very cultural, which I think is very, very smart.
Because like his costume does seem to have like some Aztecian themes to it. And
yeah,
stuff.
100%.
Like the bird,
the jewelry, all of that. So, and that's never really been done before, right?
We don't get like really anything about like prehistoric like Mexico and shit like that.
Nothing like that. So he's attaching this cultural aspect to this character, and it makes sense because in the actual comic, Atlantis and Wakanda are constantly fighting. Like they actually like and not just Atlantis and Wakanda, but Black Panther and Namor are always butting heads. They work together because they're part of the Illuminati, along with all the other smart individuals in the Marvel Universe, Doctor Strange, Professor X, Tony Stark, all those guys. But yeah, Namor is always fighting with people, and he's usually always fighting with Wakanda. So this makes sense in their history. But of course, Black Panther isn't around. So, but yeah, this is the first time that they've attached like a cultural significance to Namor and Atlantis.
There's definitely a like Black Panther was huge on culture, but it was like an introduction to this different like idea within the MCU.
Right.
And like now this movie is like, it seems like it's really going after like multiple sources of culture and like really being like, hey, this is like the focus of it is the culture of the world that doesn't get showcased.
No.
And
that's great.
And that's what pisses a lot of unfortunate souls off in this country, is that they don't want to see things that aren't familiar to them. They don't want to see things that are uncomfortable to them or whatever.
It's a big world.
Yeah. It's not all white.
different cultures, different colors, man.
And this is
different flavors.
You call it woke or whatever, but representation matters, and it's like a huge deal. And I just saw this video of, I don't know if you're familiar with who Stacey Abrams is. She went to a Target, and like it was just like showing like little like black girls who were like just like loving like her being there and like seeing like they were so excited and so ecstatic to see her just in public and like like get to interact with her.
Yeah,
and like that just shows you what representation means.
Yeah,
like
man,
seeing somebody that looks like you, like same gender, same color, same whatever.
Fantastic. Yeah,
it's like
it's
I
great.
can do that.
It's
I can go do great things and I can do this shit. And
right.
like,
When you see someone that's familiar to you, that's like yourself, and you see them on the big screen or doing something important, that's a huge thing, man.
It's
that's
massive.
It's a big difference.
And it's like this is a thing it's it's been very very slowly coming.
Right.
Right. If you go back to like blaxploitation and then like the parodies of like like the Wayans brothers and shit like that, and then
that was the ladder they had to climb, unfortunately, to get to a place.
and we're getting like going back to like Last Black Man in San Francisco and shit like that, and movies like that,
right?
Like getting to the point where like those type of indie films can get made, and then you get Black Panther in the same year. I mean, that was just massive, dude.
Yeah.
And and we kind of got off track a little bit in these last few years in terms of like,
well,
like,
what do you mean by that?
I think not just like not the film industry in general, but like in terms of like society, like we kind of gotta get fucking like, we gotta get some fucking shit together and like get people on board and be like, hey, shut the fuck up, like just enjoy some fucking entertainment,
that's true.
Try to understand, if you just like even take your shoe off without putting your foot in someone else's, you can still kind of like feel what the fuck they're going through.
That's true.
I think that's what like these baby steps have been doing, is like we're getting the shoe off a little bit, and now we're starting to get to the point where we can put our foot in someone else's shoe, if that makes any sense.
That's true. And then displaying that there's a connective humanity to all of us.
Yeah.
Like we're not so fucking different. Same blood,
So
man.
different.
Like the blood looks the same. So
it's like we all have the same fucking basic hopes and dreams in this world.
We go through the same struggles.
Yeah,
we have the same disappointments, same shit.
And it's those who are in power that exploit those struggles and say, oh, that person's responsible for that.
Oh yeah.
And then that's
the biggest trick in the world is when the wealthy and powerful get the ones that aren't wealthy and powerful to fight amongst each other.
It's
basically
distraction.
It's a huge distraction. They're up there, and they're like, you see that guy? That guy doesn't look like you, so you two should fight. Yeah, and then we'll just sit back and like that's the big trick, man. It's ridiculous.
What they don't do is they don't go, oh shit, you don't like either of us. It's like
right, exactly. Oh, there's more of us than there are of you.
You look like way different than both of us combined. So who the fuck are you?
Right? Yeah, man.
But they don't, because they're fucking way the fuck up there.
That's
what these types of movies do.
Right?
Is they give. It's called agency. It gives people agency to affect their own lives, and agency isn't. I don't think it's directly tied to physical power or physical wealth or physical means. It's also tied to like cultural wealth, cultural ideology, and shit like that. And with this, it's like, you may not get the old fogies to fall in line, but what you're gonna do is you're gonna touch, like you're gonna like get the young people to,
and that's the idea. That's the key.
Yeah.
That's really the key there, to influence the young folks, the younger generation, because once they start to, if you have kids from all races go to watch Wakanda Forever, they're going to identify with a lot of the stuff that's happening. They're going to identify with the Wakandans. They're going to identify with Namor, and the color won't even matter.
It won't
at that point. And that's part of what art does, man.
Yeah,
it shows the humanity without any of the superficial shit. It's like, we go through the same thing. We understand what all of these struggles are. We understand their motivations.
It's a mirror. It's a giant mirror. And I've always said this. Not only do I think the art in general is a mirror, it's also a magnifying glass.
That too.
Because it holds the magnifying glass against the mirror, and you can focus on these details that actually
you didn't see before.
Exactly. And that's why I like these types of films, and filmmaking in general is so powerful, because it forces you, if you're going to sit there and watch it, it forces you to shut the fuck up, because who are you going to talk to while you're watching it?
Right. That's true. Well, you're supposed to shut the fuck up.
You can't talk back.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody's going to listen to you.
Yeah. That's
so
they're going to kick you out of the theater.
Yeah. Or whether you're at home or whatever. So it's like why I think like writing is so powerful, because it's like when you're in a conversation between, in a physical conversation, it could easily just be like, "Bah!" and like go crazy and fucking,
people are talking over
when
each
you
other.
get time to actually flesh out ideals and flesh out story and flesh out points and events and
the writing room. The writing room is so
flesh it out, and then it's like
super interesting.
You either can ignore the whole thing or you can take a look at it. And when you take a look at it, you don't have any choice but to like read it and understand.
The writing rooms are fantastic because you have people from different an ideal writing room for any project, any film series or whatever, is you have people from different places of the world, different cultures, different backgrounds, and all that, and they can all kind of chime in and put in their 2 cents to a film or a project or whatever the idea is, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's yes, I love them.
Yeah,
I love those.
I think this one too, especially is important because you get the female aspect of the hero.
That's right.
Which is we don't have a lot of. I mean, we had Black Widow.
Yeah, that didn't work out.
I mean, as far as like solo movies go, it's like
right. Yeah.
So like this is like hitting like the hand, like it's going all in.
It's killing it.
And I'm as far as storyline goes, I'm interested to see what Shuri does with the mantle. As far as the character goes, as what they've done with her so far, I mean, they haven't really done much. We haven't gotten besides Black Panther and like maybe in Infinity War, she wasn't really prevalent.
No.
So it's like we're not really familiar with her character as far as the layman audience and stuff. And
right, that's true.
Yeah, this is a chance for like her character and her as an actress and stuff to like come in
and just to be clear, in the comics,
she does for a little bit.
She does take the mantle
for a slight second.
Yeah, she had a decent series run.
Yeah.
But yeah, this actually happens for people that are just like, well, wait a minute, that's not,
how's that possible?
Right. It's don't think it's just the movie thing where they're kind of shifting things for a movie. It's actually in the comic.
They're going to deal with it, and I read that they've dealt with it very well
in a good way.
Yeah. The passing the torch and they addressing Chadwick's death.
Yeah, and
that's another part of this movie that's very important is the contributions and. Just the man the guy was huge
from what I'm hearing. Yeah.
And like honoring that legacy and honoring his sacrifice to just the filmmaking industry in general. He could have just taken off and been like,
well, dude,
I'm gonna go.
He was sick the entire time.
I'm gonna go be sick and try to get better. He's like, no, I'm gonna keep working.
Treatment and all that takes a lot.
Yeah, he was going through treatment and nobody knew.
Nobody. He kept it under wraps.
Yeah.
He didn't want to.
He didn't even tell Feige until like towards the end.
Didn't want to say anything. Kept working and. You got to remember. All right. So when did he pass away? It was
a couple of years ago.
2019.
I think it was
2020.
Was it? I think it was early 2020.
I think it was 2020.
Yeah. I think it was.
But he did
a few months into the pandemic. He died.
He did a couple of movies, man. Like he did,
August 28th, 2020.
2020, right?
Yeah.
So there was Black Panther, and then there was the Infinity Wars, and then it was Endgame.
Yeah.
Right. He did a lot the entire time.
Yes, he did also Defy Bloods, 21 Bridges.
Right. No, both of those were great movies.
And so he was sick for like a few years. So they got Marshall
the entire time, man.
I think he got diagnosed in 2016. So he did Message from the King, Marshall, Black Panther, Avengers: Infinity War, Endgame, 21 Bridges, Defy Bloods, and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Also,
I remember that. That was his. Yeah, that was the very, very last one. And then when I saw that movie, he definitely looked like
he was
drained. Like the life was just gone.
And you can see that also. Like people have gone back and like looked at press tours for like Endgame, and you can tell because he's passing out in the press tours.
Yeah.
And like you see like Paul Bettany, and it's like, are you okay? Like, what's you all right? And he's like, hey, wait,
he's drained.
Yeah, and like he's like, I'm okay. He's it's fucking like
that's
the like, and you know what, like that
freaking champ, man.
And I don't know whether it's a combination or maybe a singular thing or whatever with Chadwick, but I think maybe he felt like he had to be like that because the image that he was portraying, and also he wanted to be. He wanted to be strong and stoic and man. Yeah, because I think he realized the importance of what he was doing, and one of my like if you go back to like 42, I mean, holy shit, the Jackie Robinson movie. That's one of I love that movie. It's so good.
Yeah, man, I remember when I saw that movie.
And that's another important story of like overcoming adversity and like fucking insane racism.
Played it well.
Yeah,
I was a fan when I saw like immediately. I was like, I'm following this guy.
Yeah,
he's great.
So, like honoring his legacy in this movie, I think is important. I think they've done it well, is what they've said. We're gonna go watch it tomorrow. We're doing tomorrow.
Let me see. I'll let you know.
We'll figure it out. We're gonna watch it soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll watch it soon. Next podcast, we'll definitely talk about.
Yeah. I want to see what's in store, and I want to see if they have any interesting surprises. I still feel
I
like
think
they do.
actually, I do want to say that I think the Namor thing is a misdirect.
I think so too.
Because it's like you're giving away the whole plot, right? You're like,
If he's the actual villain,
yeah.
If he is the actual villain,
everything that happens basically.
Right? Exactly.
And I don't think this type of important movie is going to be a standalone. That has no tie. When has these Marvel movies in the last 10 years ever had no tie-in to the overall story?
No. I mean, first of all, they're introducing Namor is a very important character in the Marvel history.
But we're talking about Doctor Doom,
right? So, well, no, I'll get to that. But them introducing Namor is a huge deal because he's not going to be contained to this film.
Yeah,
this is just his introduction. He's going to get his own shit.
Yeah.
So this is just the opening.
I think what's going to happen is that it's going to be the misdirect where he's supposed to be the villain, and then they deal with him,
right?
And then they realize, oh shit, there's something else out there.
He's not really, but it's
like oh shit, there's something else,
right? Because technically, he's not really a villain.
He just has tiff. It's a neighborhood tiff.
He has a tiff. I mean, he's one of those.
I see you, T'Challa. All right, fuck you. Yeah.
Right. He has that attitude. The guy has the biggest ego in the world.
Yeah. But they have.
So,
but I think.
But he's a good guy.
I think what it is they're going to find a common enemy.
Right.
And
that's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm thinking. Because Namor is ultimately a good guy. Yeah. He's a dick, but he's a good guy.
Because Doctor Doom is going to be the main bad of Secret Wars.
Yes, Doctor Doom is the bad guy. Everyone's talking about Thanos. Everyone's people are big Thanos fans and all that shit. But it's Doom. Doom is the consistent fucking bad guy.
He's the smartest guy in the fucking.
He's as smart as Reed Richards, who's the smartest man in the world.
But hey, check this out. So we got Kang as the Kang Dynasty, right? But so that's going to be the Infinity War of Secret Wars, right? Because they're releasing them a year apart.
Okay.
So do we think that Kang is going to end up in some kind of a plot to take down Doctor Doom?
Yeah, but Doom wins because Doom always fights.
But you think Doom's going to win the second Avengers movie?
Yeah.
You think the Avengers are going to lose in the finale?
Dude, listen, man.
The finale is Phase 5. He's going to win. Well, I think what he's going to do
would be great, and I want
because we got Kang Dynasty, right? So they're going to deal with Kang, but I think after that,
and Kang is related to Doom,
right? But
on top of that,
we can't have two fucking big bads.
No, you can't.
So
if I had to pick one,
is Kang going to die?
If I had to pick one, it would be Doom.
Is Kang going to die, or is he going to team up with the Avengers to take down?
I'll put it to you this way. Kang is a big bad guy, and I'm not saying he's a walk in the park or anything like that, because Kang can take out Thanos.
Yeah,
Thanos is not really that big of a bad guy.
He was just a Titan that had ambition.
That's it. That's really it. But if we're talking about hierarchy here, and this is based on comic book shit, right? If we're talking about the hierarchy here, Kang can take out Thanos, without a problem. But so can Doom. Doom has taken out Thanos a few times in a few instances. Not only that, but I think he can take out Kang. I don't think that they actually bumped heads ever. From what I remember, I could be wrong, but I don't think Kang and Doom bumped heads. I do know that Kang has used a lot of Doom's technology, which makes him a little bit inferior, in my opinion.
So it's Kang that's related to Reed Richards, right?
Right. What they're saying, well, technically,
the 30th century,
31st century, right? So what they're saying is that at some point, the two Reed Richards lineage and Doctor Doom's lineage combine
to create Kang.
Right. So he's somehow related to both of them.
And he's a multi-dimensional traveler.
Right. Correct.
So Doom is a current lineage character, or does he come from the future too?
Doom?
Yeah.
At some point, Doom becomes a god.
Yes.
Weirdly enough. And that's and honestly, in the comic books, that's actually the start of the Secret Wars. Because who else than somebody that's that powerful that can create this battle world? So that's really how that starts.
Do we think we're gonna get Fantastic Four tie-ins?
Of course, we have to,
because it's gonna come up. We already know it's coming out.
Listen, for me, the big thread for me that I want to keep pulling is the fact that they introduced Kang. To me,
Yeah.
that ties in both Doctor Doom and the Fantastic
Well,
Four.
we know we're getting multiple versions of him because we got Quantum Mania,
Right.
we got Kang Dynasty, we
But
had Loki.
that's Disney for me. That's the giveaway from Disney, because if I know Kang is involved, then I know they're going to have to tie in Fantastic Four and Doom,
right?
Because that's where Kang comes from.
That's what he like in the Secret Wars. It'd be like adapting Infinity Gauntlet without Thanos.
Right?
Yeah,
right. And
you need
yeah,
Doom.
and that's another thing. Yeah, if you have Secret Wars,
you need Doom.
There's no way. Right.
And Secret Wars is like I still have to read it, but it's right there on my fucking shelf. I bought it. I do this thing where I buy books. I don't fucking read them, but
I got the same issue, bro. Trust me.
No, I want to. I just had to read all my fucking history books for school.
You've got other books to read.
Oh, fucking so many. Fucking look at this smallpox book here.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, I'm excited because it's I know what I do this thing where I go on like Wikipedia's and I fucking read synopses and shit like that. And I get my tidbits and my fucking plot points and stuff.
Yeah.
I know like Secret Wars is like way bigger than the Infinity Gauntlet.
It's huge.
It
runs for a while.
And like you think like the heroes you see at the end of Endgame is a lot. Like there's so many more involved in Secret Wars.
Yeah, because we're talking about multi-universe and if I'm not wrong, like
Spider-Man makes a pretty big dent in the
sure
story.
Does. He sure does,
and might even be a little bit mangled.
Well, it leads to other big Spider-Man.
Yeah. And I think Daredevil's involved heavily too.
Yeah, everyone's involved.
And Deadpool.
Every single person. So Secret Wars is Marvel's. Once that was announced, I'm like, okay, they're doing. They're bringing everyone in.
Feige was like,
they're bringing. That's where they're bringing the X-Men.
It's like when Feige was like, okay, we got Fox, Secret Wars.
There you go.
We got
that's
characters.
It. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's their way of bringing them all in.
I think Namor is a mutant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. He is a mutant.
So, do you think they're gonna establish that in this film?
I hope so.
Or would it be? Do you think it'd be an offhand comment like, "Oh, the X gene" or like something, or because we have to like we already have.
It's a lot to unpack.
We have mutants in the MCU now because of fucking Doctor Strange. So we have
what? How so?
Mr. X, Professor X was in Multiverse of Madness.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
So we have Professor X.
Yeah.
And if you want to be technical, we have Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, who are technically mutants.
Technically,
and sons of Magneto.
They use
sons and daughters
but
of
they
Magneto.
use the stones, and they're not technically sons of Magneto because Magneto doesn't exist in this version.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm like,
he might.
I got pissed off when they kept going back into the Scarlet Witch's like origin story when they were kids, and then that bomb thing happened and all that. And I'm like,
well, they did that then because there was a conflict with Fox.
And I'm like, fucking
they couldn't actually say they were mutants. They didn't do that.
Yeah. And then they showed like the father, like back when they had a happy family, like the father and the mother, and I'm like, fuck you. It's not Magneto.
It's not. But maybe they might retcon it. Who knows?
In any case,
it'd be really cool to see like McAvoy and that's not good. Fassbender come back and play these characters again. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, as long as they give me Magneto with white hair.
Yeah, give me traditional Magneto.
Okay.
And they can do that because like
nothing against Fassbender, man. You got great hair,
honestly, but it could be long enough now since the other films. Like Fassbender's getting a little old. He's got the wrinkles going. They can fucking dye his hair.
Yeah, they can. Yeah. They should.
We don't need fucking Ian McKellen.
No, we don't, man. Let's just leave the guy alone. He's
a wizard. Oh, I'm sorry, it's the wrong movie.
Yeah, man.
He's like hitting dementia. He's like Bilbo.
No, I was a fan
Logan.
I was a fan of Fassbender's Magneto.
I like Fassbender. He's a great actor.
He's a good
Magneto. I think he portrayed that young pain of Magneto better than McKellen did.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
100%, man. I think so. Yeah, and he's like, he's uncompromising. He's like, no, fuck you guys. I'm for mutants.
Yeah.
If you ain't for it, you got to go.
Yeah, I love that aspect because it's like he's the other side of the coin that is good.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I heard Stan Lee parallel that to like the civil rights movement.
Interesting. Oh yeah, no, it is.
He
He
did. Where Professor X is Martin Luther King,
yeah,
and Magneto's Malcolm X.
yeah.
Completely different approaches,
Yeah.
but they
Going
want
for the same thing.
they want the same thing, right?
Where one
right.
is like harmony and like,
And the other guy's like,
nope,
by any means necessary.
because we're dying,
So they gotta die.
Yeah,
That shit. It's raw. But in any case, I want Doom is the big baddie.
yeah.
He's the big baddie. He's the genius. He's like Tony Stark and Reed Richards and Doctor Strange combined.
Yeah.
Because he does magic too.
Mhm.
And he's smart. And he has a fucking suit of armor. Dude, he's come on, man.
It's gonna be.
They need to milk Doctor Strange for at least the entire phase.
Well,
like, for several movies.
As far as I've heard, they're trying to make Doctor Strange the new Tony Stark.
And I'm sorry, not Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, Doctor Doom. They need to milk Doctor Doom for a
Well, if they get him into well, I guess we'll find out this weekend. But if they get him into Wakanda forever,
that would be amazing.
and they started teasing like they did with Thanos, I think that we'll because they need to do that. They need to tease him so that audiences are familiar. Because they just come into Secret Wars and like, hey, here's this guy.
No,
and
they
like,
need to bring him in.
Yeah. Like with Thanos, it was like, okay,
Little by little.
we know he sent Loki to do these things, and like with the first movie,
right?
And then like after Age of Ultron, he's like, fine, I'll do it myself.
No, well, not only that, but Guardians of the Galaxy as well.
Yeah,
you know,
with Ronan and stuff like that.
Right, exactly. Anything having to do with the stones.
That's another thing that we haven't really gotten any information on is Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is supposed to come out next year.
Wait, who's doing that again?
James Gunn.
Is it James Gunn?
Yeah, this is the last one.
This is the last one. Yeah. Okay, because now he's
now he's the fucking co-CEO of DC Entertainment,
which is great.
That's insane.
I'm happy about that.
I bet he was like, "Fuck yeah!"
I'm happy about that. Well, they've been trying to get somebody.
Yeah,
they've been trying to get someone.
I think that was part of the shakeup. Basically, they're like, "Hey, we need somebody that fucking knows what they're doing." You not only do you have their track record, you also have the pull with the fans.
Yeah,
because all that controversy happened, and all the.
But not only that, but he respects the material too, man.
But like all the controversy happened, and like the fans were like, "Fuck that!" Like, no, bring him back. Like,
right. Yeah,
fuck that.
Yeah,
shit.
That's true. Yeah,
and so like, all right, well, you're solidified, and it's like you know what you're doing.
Right.
You already proved yourself with Suicide Squad.
Right.
It did well after the fucking
the series with Cena.
Peacemaker.
Yeah. That was great.
Yeah.
I saw the whole thing.
That was Gunn too?
That was Gunn too.
Okay.
He did all of that, man.
Okay.
It's fantastic. And the same type of comedy. It was fucking ridiculous. A lot of action. But yeah, it felt like a continuation of Suicide Squad. It was great.
So the Gunn's in the helm for that, which is great because even Feige said that competition is amazing because it only makes each other party's work better.
Yeah.
So
listen, man. Some of the stuff that I'm hearing from DC, some of the new information, it makes me happy because Cavill is back as Superman.
Yeah.
They're bringing back Affleck as Batfleck. And honestly, I liked him as Batman.
Yeah,
he's one of my favorites.
So got to solve the Ezra Miller crises. But I think he's taking the. I think he took the arm of HBO. It was like the choice was like, hey, fix your shit or you're done.
Right.
And I think he was like, all right.
Yeah, like dude, like we don't want bad press.
So I think right now he's like going through rehab or shit like that.
Yeah. It's like either that or we'll replace you.
Well, yeah, we'll fucking see. That was a fucking whirlwind.
And they actually can because they can easily pull
Grant Gustin.
A multiverse card. They can say, all right, this Flash is dead.
You know,
so we're gonna use this Flash.
Grant's sitting there waiting, like, fuck, I'll do it. He's like, Flash.
Tap me in, coach. Tap me in. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think that's basically
that's it.
Team
Doom.
Team Doom.
Team Doom. I like Dr. Doom.
This guy's an
he's the only. Listen, we all like some villains. I'm not gonna lie. Like I
am a Daemon Targaryen fanboy over here. So.
See what I'm saying? But we like the villains that do that are like arch nemesis. Like Dr. Doom is that guy.
I like villains that make the heroes think about what they're doing.
Yeah, like he's no walk in the park.
Yeah. Not like that, but like the ideology. Like, oh shit, well he's kind of right, but
Yeah, that's
the
true.
way they're going about it.
That's
It's like,
yeah.
when you get the heroes be like, oh fuck, what
Yeah.
are we doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, that's true.
Which is kind of like you caught a little bit of that with Endgame and Thanos, and like, trying to like make the world realize that shit's fucking gonna not.
Yeah,
they're like,
well,
it's a little bit right, but you're also fucking batshit crazy, and like, fuck you. But
that
like,
is kind of
like, I want to get more to like morally gray
listen.
shit.
The thing, yeah, the excuse that Thanos
He was
used
delusional, but
to me, that excuse had so many holes.
yeah.
And I had this conversation with friends before. I'm like, so he kills half of the universe because of resources? Okay, well, dude, if you have the gauntlet, why not just double the resources? Fucking idiots, save lives.
You think about this shit's like, well, like, what is life?
Make infinite resources.
What is life subsists off of? Other life. So if you kill other half of life, then you're killing resources for the other life. So
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, it's just come
but
on, dude.
I want to get more to like gray area villainry,
right?
Where it's like, oh shit, like, well, where it makes the heroes better in their ideology.
Right, it makes you look.
They realize,
which is why the dynamic between Professor X and Magneto is so important because it is a little bit of a gray. I mean, they're both at two extremes, but there is a gray area.
Yeah,
where it's just like, well, this guy is all about violence, but this guy isn't. So, like, I can understand both of those sides, and I can be guilty of like, well, shit, that guy needs to die.
Yeah, well, it's like that's why like going back to like the Song of Ice and Fire, like George R.R. Martin has always said his favorite characters are those in gray.
Right,
great characters.
Yeah, because they're realistic,
capable of doing great things, but also heinous evil acts.
Yeah, man.
And it's like, and that's what people don't want to actually admit and acknowledge, that we're all capable of that shit, and we're all on this gray like fence, and every day we make the choice of doing what's right or what's wrong.
It is all a choice. Absolutely,
and it's easy to see why good people might make bad decisions.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's great about storytelling.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great place to end this conversation.
Yeah. Good. That's a good segue. I like it, man. Not bad. All right, guys. Until next time.
Yeah. This was Cinemana episode 8. Next time we'll be on YouTube because, we fucked up. But
it's all right. It's YouTube's fault.
Later, guys.
All right.